right, everyone. I just wanted to talk and take a moment. We know that my campaign has been about transparency from the very beginning. Been a very fast weekend, last couple of days leading up to tomorrow's election. Made a great announcement Saturday. My wife and I are having a baby, but the reason for this live video today is that yesterday I posted a video and I said some things about CCAR, and when it was all said and done, no matter what the cause or who the cause or whatever the case may be, I just wanted everyone to know that I was terminated this morning from my lender position for the company I work for. Love the guy, we had a great talk, but at the end of the day, what I said and where I stand, and as I continue to fight for the people of Horry County regarding irresponsible overdevelopment, it cost me my job. And I just want the people of Horry County to know, and anybody that may question where I stand with the people of Horry County, I stand with the people of District 6, I stand with the flood victims, and I stand by my convictions and my integrity. At the end of the day, yes, it cost me my job, but at the end of the day, I feel like what I'm doing in Horry County is bigger than me, and it's more important than my personal job. I could find another job. We need somebody to lead District 6 that's willing to put it on the line, toe the line, and get things taken care of. District 6, I want you to know that I appreciate you. Horry County, I want you to know that I appreciate you. And I look forward to leading you in the future. Thank you, everyone. That's my conference.
Mind if I ask a couple questions while we're here?
Sure.
How long were you in the mortgage lending business?
I got started in 2016, so about 4 years, a little over 4 years right now.
Were you with that company for that same
No, I was
time?
not. Actually, I was not with the company that I got terminated from. I had another company, actually 2 companies before that, but I've been with this current company for a little over 2 years now. A little over 2 years. Loved it. Great company. When I got terminated today, my branch manager had to call me in. I mean, he kind of got a little teary this morning. I mean, we've been very good friends. I mean, you know, it was a brotherly thing, but you know, it was more of a. I said some things that, and I stand by my convictions, and I stand by what I said. But at the end of the day, I think that he had to look at the brand, and I think that he was afraid that what I said might have had a negative effect on him, the company, and maybe some of the other people in the office that I didn't really take into consideration. So, there to eliminate their collateral damage, I basically had to go. Like I said, I stand by my convictions. I stand what I said by, and I stand with the flood victims and the people of Horry County.
So that's how it happened that they call you in and then you go to
I posted a video. I actually recorded a video a few days ago regarding the irresponsible development that's going on in Horry County. And, you know, I did an interview with CCAR. It was about a 30-minute video, and I thought it was a great video. And I guess maybe my anger was that it wasn't just the fact that I wasn't their endorsement. I get that. You know, Cam and I, apparently we both did a video. If they wanted to come out and say, hey, you know what, we're endorsing Cam over you, that's their prerogative. But to say that I wasn't qualified, that's what really got me to the point where I got, that I was so fired up, to steal a phrase from my friend Chad Caton. You know, that's what got me so fired up. And that's why I put the video out there, was because I was talking about the irresponsible overdevelopment. And it's emotional. You know, I said from the beginning that I was going to be transparent, and this campaign has gotten very emotional over the last year after I decided that I was going to be running. You know, the last few months, you get to meet people and you get to talk to people and you see what people are going through, and you just have to say, you know, that enough is enough. You know, like I said, this campaign, this particular vote tomorrow, we're voting tomorrow for the Republican primary. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than us. This is Horry County. This is District 6. And, you know, I can't in good conscience just stand by and let the way things have just continued to go status quo. Look at behind me. Look at what's going on. this is unacceptable. Lawson's Landing, Bridge Creek, Rosewood, and Rosewood gets a lot of the exposure because of the fact with their Facebook page, and they kind of took the forefront. But I mean, it's not just Rosewood. I mean, like I said, we're in Lawson's Landing. You go around the Wade, you go down Ed Smith Boulevard. Mark Epps, running for the state. His house is he's inches from the water being in his house. I don't have any regrets for standing up and saying what I did. Like I said, I represent the people of District 6 in Horry County, and this is bigger than me, and I don't want to beat that dead horse, but it was time for somebody to stand up and say, we've got to have some good representation in there, and somebody to speak up for District 6 and stop allowing all of the irresponsibleness and the irresponsible development to continue. We're flooding all around Conway. I mean, we're flooding all around Horry County. Conway, Lee's Landing, 90, 905, you name it, we're flooding. They can place the blame wherever they want, but in the end, we have no answers from council. And that's why I'm standing up and speaking up and showing up. And that's what I want everybody else to do tomorrow. As my friend, again, Chad says, stand up, speak up, show up.
When you're called, I guess, into your office, I guess, did they give you a specific reason?
No,
why?
and I'm not gonna deal with that. That's between my boss and I.
Yes. I want to make sure we hear this right. CCAR, Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors, endorsed your opponent as qualified and said that you were unqualified?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm going to ask the question because everybody's thinking it. Do you believe that your opponent has a preferred relationship with the Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors?
I honestly don't know that.
Okay.
I've never asked him. Can't speak on that. You can draw your own conclusions. That's not for me to say. But, for somebody who's not in the real estate industry, compared to myself, who's a lender, have been a lender for the last 4 years, I've talked about impact fees. I've talked about stopping the irresponsible development. And I spoke up. Like I said, no matter how it was taken or who the target was, it ultimately cost me my job.
One last question. Do you believe the Coastal Carolina Association of Realtors have tremendous influence in establishment politics?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if I remember from your video correctly, you were a member of the CCAR at one point, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I likely would still be a member of the CCAR. I mean, if you're a lender, if I decide to stay in this profession, somebody out there will have me. And quite honestly, when the CCAR didn't endorse me and they basically called me unqualified, I actually thought that was going to be a way. When I got called in this morning, I didn't expect that. When we had the conversation, I was completely blindsided. I thought that this was going to be a way to parlay my being a lender as, hey, I'm going to promote this as the fact that this is a lender who cares about his buyers and the people that he represents, and that the people that I represent aren't just a number and aren't just a paycheck. I care about the people that I work with. I've helped people from start to finish where people were not even remotely close to qualifying because of their credit or because of their income, and have coached them away. I've had people that call me a year later, or I work with over a year's length of time. I've got people that are first-time home buyers that just had nowhere to begin and no idea what they needed to do. And I take my job very seriously, and I take it to heart. So I honestly thought that, with the builders and the developers and the irresponsible things that are going on, and a lot of that was allowed to happen because of what was being passed by county council. No matter what happened, we've been flooding for the last 5 years, but this started 20 years ago. And sticking with the regulations and the guidelines that they were given, they obviously weren't strict enough. Well, now our question is, we've got new guidelines in 2020, and people say that we've got the strictest guidelines. Well, is that what we thought 20 years ago too? We've got to take a step back, and we've got to look at what's going on around us. 100,000 homes over the next 20 years in Horry County. Where are we going to put them? Because we can't continue to fill up and build on swamplands, wetlands, and we can't continue to clear cut our trees and our forests to make room for people we just don't have room for. And I'm not saying stop development. Please, I don't want anybody to think that. I am not saying stop development. I'm saying we need to develop responsibly and stop just doing whatever we care to do without any regard for the repercussions.
Understanding the ethics, everybody's put their ethics in for monies given from different groups. knowing that Cam Crawford has thousands of dollars from different development groups, how much do you have in your coffers from different, say, Beezer or?
None. Most of my money, if not, well, most of it, came from family and friends. The only thing that wasn't, I know a couple people with the groups, $50 here, $100 there. Jammer, we appreciate you stepping up and standing up. Other than, for all intent purposes, family, friends, or my own personal investment, DNS is a mulch company. As you guys know, I'm a landscaper as well. I do a lot of business with them, and they gave me $1,000 as well. But other than that, and like I said, I do a lot of business. Right now, I'm doing a 200-yard mulch job that I'm using them. A couple months ago, I did a 300-yard mulch job with them, and they basically were saying, you know what, Jeremy, you do a lot of business with us, so we're going to support you. But other than that, none at all. Oh, and I did get one from a restaurant that I used to work at. I opened the boathouse, and the owners of the boathouse gave me $500 appreciating that I'm standing up.
The other question is, you being in real estate, being a mortgage banker, broker,
Yep.
Cam Crawford isn't in real estate, or is he?
Not that I
don't know his job.
Not that I know of. I was always under the impression he worked at Coastal Carolina University.
So you understand. So let me understand. That's why you were upset with CCAR, because you are in fact in the industry and they're backing somebody that's not.
Well, what I was upset about with CCAR, you want if I'd love. I mean, I'm going to post my video that I did with the CCAR. It was a 30-minute interview. I'd love for Cam to post his as well to see what his answers were. Like I said, I'm all about transparency. I'd love Cam to post his video and see what his answers were. I thought my answers were on point. They asked me about I-73. I told them that I didn't agree with how it was pitched to us, the fact that it was supposed to bring in industry. I talked about the fact that I went to go see Tom Rice when he was down on 17 at the breakfast place, and he talked about connecting 22 to 74. I talked about irresponsible overdevelopment, and there were, like I said, 5 or 6 topics. Now, if Cam gave better answers or was considered more realtor friendly, and they want to choose him as their endorsement, by all means, I've got other people that are endorsing me. Chuck Canterbury came out this morning. Great endorsement for me. He did something a couple weeks ago, I believe it was May 23rd that I saw that I forwarded, but he came out with another one today. We all know Chuck Canterbury and what he represents and what he's running for. Casey endorsed me. There's been tons of people that have endorsed me, but not endorsing me is one thing, but saying I'm unqualified, that's where I draw the line, because I feel as a lender, I am very good at what I do for a living. I'm knowledgeable. I know what's going on in the market. And to just say that, maybe I didn't, I don't know why they gave me the reason for unqualified. This all just has happened so fast. I haven't had an opportunity to reach back out to the CCAR. I mean, it literally just happened in the last couple hours. But I didn't really think to reach out to ask them what I said that was unqualifying, because I thought that all of my answers were great.
Residents in Horry County, because of the water standing behind you, actually reached out to you and encouraged you to run. Mm-hmm. Knowing what you know today, would you still run if that same request was made?
Absolutely. I had decided to run long before the flooding issues. I had been following county council, probably since January, February of 2019. And the day that Johnny Gardner and they voted on whether or not to get rid of Chris Eldridge, and they decided not to terminate Chris. I actually put a video out in a post that day. I could probably have to go back and look for it and find it. I'm sure it's in my memories. But that day, I put a video out point blank telling Cam Crawford, you represent District 6. I'm asking you as a representative of District 6. All of District 6 is asking you. I mean, I remember that room was packed to the point where they had overflow. Well, Johnny Gardner point blank, after they got done with all the questions, Johnny Gardner point blank said, I cannot work with that man. And then they took a vote to terminate, and it was turned down 6-6.
Because of issues like what's happened today, Jeremy, it's hard to get people to run against incumbents. I want to thank you for stepping up. I want to tell our viewers, thanks for stepping up. This is a painful day, but man, thanks for stepping up. It is hard to get people to run against this system, and I appreciate what you're doing out here.
One quick question is, we're talking about qualified or unqualified. I know I've seen you come to county council meetings. What have you been trying to do to really learn the nuts and bolts of the job before you would even take it?
Really, I mean, that's just it. I mean, I've been working with April Thomas. She's part of Horry County Rising. She basically, is Horry County Rising to what it is today. And her knowledge has just been huge. And as I'm coming along, I've learned, about the floodwaters and there's a whole lot of theories of where this water's coming from. Are they releasing the dams in North Carolina? Is it busted dams? Is it this? Is it that? The problem I have with the flooding that has continued, we flooded in February, we flooded again now. We've had these flooding issues, but we haven't had them as consistent, and we haven't had them for as I don't want to say a no reason, but for the reasons we're having them now. I mean, God, we have flooding up in Little River and areas like that because we get king tide because we have king tide the same time we have a high tide. We have flooding down here. What's this? The Strawberry Moon this weekend or something like that? If it is the case, if we want to give the credibility, we do say, yes, it's flooding because North Carolina is releasing their dams, and yes, because it's getting down here so fast. Then why aren't we having a conversation with North Carolina to say, hey, you know what? We're getting ready to have a storm. Why don't y'all lower your dam levels so that you have some place to hold and retain and maintain your own water instead of releasing it on us, if that's truly the case. We got other people that say the case is because of global warming. My point is that we need answers. And excuse me, I get a little heated.
You're good.
And my thing is that we don't have any answers. You see the pictures of Cam with Governor McMaster. You see the picture of Heather with Governor McMaster endorsing people. If Cam and Heather are such good buddy-buddy with Mr. McMaster, then why haven't we got the money to take care of the people that are down here? Why haven't we got the money yet for the buyouts? Why haven't we got any answers and any results? If they're so close with the governor can make these changes. The governor can go ahead and provide the funding that we need. If all it takes is a phone call to get an endorsement, why can't it take a phone call to get some answers? That's why I'm stepping up. That's why I feel like we need strong leadership instead of an order taker.
You answer this kind of, but what do you think should be done about flooding in Horry County?
4-letter word.
I know, really. Do we have another hour and a half for the rest of the interview? Probably not.
How long is the plan?
My thing is, we need to first stop the bleeding. I've said that from day one.
Protect what we have.
We've got to stop the bleeding, protect what we have. Thank you, April. We've got to protect what we have. We've got to stop the bleeding. I've been saying that for a long time. If we continue to let these builders and developers continue to run amok, it doesn't matter what we do. First of all, by the way, I was listening to Cam's interview this morning on 99.5. He's got one of his commercials where he's talking about how he I believe, mark me if I'm wrong, but he said something about, I thought he said that he was in support of the North Carolina-South Carolina Canal. Yet this morning on the interview, he said that the North Carolina-South Carolina Canal, I recorded it too just in case, the North Carolina-South Carolina Canal is going to cost $1 billion. Really? So we're going to do a canal that's going to cost us $1 billion.
Where's the money?
From what my understanding, talking to other professionals and other people that are in this line of work, other engineers, that it's going to lower the water level by a foot when it's all said and done. So we're going to spend $1 billion to lower the water levels a foot. I don't think that's money wise spent. I think what we need to do is we need to take care of things that aren't going to cost us. Hold the builders and developers accountable. They're talking about, the water comes down, and then we get in that bottleneck down by Winyah Bay. Maybe we need to open some things up down there. We need to get to the point where the water can get out just as fast as it's getting to us. That's my problem.
Being we're here today and you got fired the day before an election, would you say...
Great timing, huh? That kind of...
Would you...
2 days after I announced I'm having a baby.
Congratulations, Jeremy. And congratulations to your family.
That being said, the day before an election, you're terminated, and because of a video you did on Sunday, which you said is all true and you stand behind, is this firing based off of the video and what you said, or politically motivated?
I don't think it's politically motivated. No, I think that it was, I said some things, and as a lender, I work with realtors and I work with the CCAR, and I called the CCAR out on what I believed was a wrongful designation of being unqualified, and the builders and developers that are, in my opinion, a part of that CCAR. And
Do you think
you know,
this
my friend felt like he needed to terminate me because I was giving a bad image to his brand. And quite honestly, if that was the case, that was obviously not the intent. I don't speak on behalf of them, but I did wear the company shirt, the company logo. I mentioned the company name that I'm working with. We're beyond that now. I'm not bringing that up. But when we talked, he said that, you know, that my actions, he didn't want to get involved in this political game in the beginning, but my actions could have adverse effects on him, other people in the office, other lenders that work with those realtors. And I think he was trying to get out in front of any negative reactions that my old co-workers would have experienced on something that they didn't really want to get involved with in the first place.
That being said, my final question, is this you talking the truth and using your mind in a political realm? Is it a shot on the First Amendment?
That's for others to decide. I said my piece, and I would say it again. If there's repercussions, then so be it. You know, people talk all the time. As a matter of fact, Liz and Nick, I think they were talking about last week one time, and Nick all the time, one of their parts of their show was talking about people that have been terminated for the things that they said. You know, they say, nobody says that you can't say what you want to say. You have a First Amendment right to say whatever you want to say, but there may be repercussions for what you said. I just didn't think that what I said was out of line by calling them out, and apparently it did. I hold no ill will towards my ex-employer. As a matter of fact, when he and I were parting ways this morning, gave me a hug, got a little teary-eyed together. We'll probably go have lunch Wednesday or Thursday because I still consider him a brother. But you know, he felt like he was doing what he thought was right for the company. I may or may not agree, but I don't. But he was, but he thought he was doing what he thought was for the best of the company and the best of my co-employees. And I hold no ill will or fault him for that.
And this is the way I get to my house.
And it's a shame.
Sorry, sir. We're with you.
And it's a shame that we've got people having to trace through. And I'll tell you right now, keep the camera on that. Because I was out there walking it, and it was up to just above the top of my calf. Now I'm 6'3", and this water was right up to the top of my calf in the middle of the road. You know, this is just one development. This is one development of dozens through Horry County. Here, followed around to Smith Boulevard, Rosewood, Bridge Creek, everything, Socastee, Conway. It's got to stop. And for us to just consider this the new norm and to think this is okay and it's status quo, I'm not cool with that. And that's why I stepped up, that's why I'm running, and that's why I'm not backing down from my convictions and my integrity and what I stand behind. And what I stand behind is the people of Horry County over, well, quite honestly, over my job. And I appreciate you guys for coming out today. Thank you very much.